Hi, hello, namaste. My name is Abhishek Pathak. This is MVC part 6. In this video, I'll cover two important topics: how to create controller views in MVC, determining the MVC version. In MVC part 4 and 5, I covered few important topics. Like in MVC part 4, I showed you how we can create our first application in MVC and step by step guidance, and that application was in MVC 4. In MVC part 5, I explained the folder structure. What are those folder structure? What is the significance of each folder? So it is very important to watch those video to understand this sixth video. So in this video I'll cover these two topics. So let's flip to Visual Studio. This is the same project which we have done in part 4 and part 5. Okay, so as I told you, I'll cover two topics. So let's add one controller. So to add new controller, right click on controller, add, choose controller. Here we have to give the controller name. As you notice, this controller word or controller should be appended to this control home, and it is very mandatory to add this controller in front of any controller. And this other option is scaffolding option, template, leave those as it is. We will complete those things later. Click add. So this is our controller which is created. The controller name is home. This home controller, we have one base class. This is controller. If you remember in ASP.NET Web Forms, so each form directly it inherits a class page. So page is a base class for uh, web forms in ASP.NET. Here we use the controller. Similarly, you can see there is one method in MVC. Methods function are called action. In this action, we have one written type view. Okay, so home is a controller and index is our action. In this action, it returns the view. So we saw how we can create the controller. Let's create one view related to this index. If you expand this view folder, right now we have only shared folder and it has got few CSS HTML file. So if we want to create the view, how we can create? So right click on controller folder, add controller. Similarly, give the name. How to add the view? Right click on this action, choose add view. Okay, so in this dialog box, if you notice, the view name and index name, it's showing same. So whenever we create the view, by default is it gives the action name. And view engine, there are two view engine are available. View engine, basically it is used to pass the view. It is used to read the view. So let's choose this razor, and other option you can leave it as it is. So we may be cover this topic will be covered in upcoming classes. Okay, and this user layout or master page, let's uncheck it, because right now we don't want to use any master page. And in earlier video I explained layout is called our master page, so leave it. Click add. Okay, so it has created one HTML, and the HTML name is index. If you notice, our action name is index and view name is index. And if you notice, earlier I showed you there was only one folder. So when we add any particular view, it adds the folder with the same name as we have controller name, and under this it places this view, because this view is related to this controller. And if you notice, index.cshtml, so cshtml is a razor syntax, we can say. When we use the razor, so it creates the cshtml. The full form is c sharp html. Okay, and this at the rate symbol, at the rate and this opening and closing braces, this is a razor syntax. Even we can write server side code like 10 HP 20 plus a. So here we whatever we want we can write the server code. For now let's remove it. Doc type HTML, this is HTML5 because MVC 4 supports MVC HTML5, then head, then body, then div. So let's write something here. This is my first application. This is my first application with index view. Okay, yeah. So now if you remember, let's open one notepad. I explained MVC works on a URL. MVC works on URL based pattern. So if we have website anikatech.com and we want to open particular page or particular view, how we have to navigate like this. So in this case, home is a controller, index is action, and when this index action will be called, so it is going to return a page. And what will be the page or view name? It will be the index.html. Whereas I explained in .NET, in ASP.NET Web Form how you are going to achieve anikatech.com, maybe home.aspx or whatever. So this is a physical path, but here we have to call the controller, then its action, and action will decide which page we have to call. Here we can have multiple condition to return a different view as well. So we can have if else condition where we can put some condition and we can return some different view also. Also notice if we write directly return view, so by default it returns the action name view. So what is the action name here? Index. If you want, it has several overloaded method, we can use any specific here, but for now we don't require it, so leave it. And now let's run this application. How to run the application? Directly click on this Google Chrome or whatever browser you have set here, or the shortcut to run this application is F5. Yeah, so it's running. This is a local host, this is a port, random port, which is used to run the application. Yeah, as you can see, this is my first application with index view. Even if we want, as I said, it works on a home and index. So let's home and index. Yeah, same pages or same view is written from that particular index. If you want to make sure this view was called, so let's put a breakpoint and press enter. C F5, and now same page or same view is called. Okay, if you have noticed here, we have not configured in ASP.NET Web Forms. What you do, you have physical pages. So in ASP.NET Web Form, what you do, you right click on particular page and you say set a startup page. But here through controller and action, views are written, so we cannot say right click and set a startup page, because here action decides which view it has to return. So how MVC identified it has to call the home and this action? So the answer is go to app underscore start. If you are new to this folder structure, in previous video session I covered these folder structure. What are these folders? Why do we need to use this? Click on Route.Config. If I zoom it, yeah, so if you notice here, we have something route.map. Okay, in MVC route or route we can say, in MVC routing or which page we have to call or which controller we have to call, that can be written in route.config. So here if you notice here, controller, action and ID. So what is the controller name we created? Home. And what is the action name? Index. And ID is optional. It means if we don't pass from URL, still it is going to work. So So that is why this is our this controller index is set as our startup controller and startup action, we can say. Okay. Yeah, so I showed you how we can create a controller and view. Okay. Yeah, and second topic which we have to cover is, yeah, determining the MVC version. If you are working in existing application, or even if you are starting a new application, because in MVC or in a project template you may have lots of projects, lots of MVC projects. So there are two ways by which we can determine on which MVC version we are working on. First way is, we have got this package.config. Okay, this is related to NuGet package. When we have different files and libraries, so those details are managed in package.config. I'll cover this global.sx and other file in details in upcoming session. So here you have to search this Microsoft ASP.NET.MVC. So what is the version of our MVC? 4.0. If you are wondering why this 4.0 or something something, so this is called your major, this is your minor, this is your build, and this is a revision. Another way to determine MVC is, uh, when MVC was written, so Microsoft created one particular assembly DLL library, we can say, for MVC. So this system.web.mvc is responsible for MVC. If I comment it, you can see we have got the error now, because this controller action result view is defined in this library. So where we can find this library? References. Here let's search system.web.mvc. Yeah, so if you right click and say version, so what is the version is, its version is 4.0. Okay, so this is another way to find the MVC version. And this, if I comment this controller, so you can see this written view is defined in this controller class. If I navigate to this one, so what is the shortcut to navigate? F12. Yeah, so you can see here lots of things are defined. Okay. Yeah, so in this video I covered two topics: how we can create controllers, how we can create the views. Another topic is, because sometime in interview it is asked, how we can create the views, and how we can check which version you are using for MVC, and how you can determine the version of your project. So we have two ways by which we can determine. Okay, that's it from this video. I hope you have liked my video. So please subscribe, share. If you want this PPT to share with you, please give me an email ID, so that I can share this PPT with you. Thank you. Bye.